All right. Good to see you guys after not having been around for like fully 2 weeks. I think it was 2 weeks. Been busy, been lazy, been focusing on other projects, one of which I'll get to in a second. But as is tradition, let me get the link over to the Discord so that they may view. One moment, please. Grabbing the link copied, heading over to Discord. Come on, Discord. There you go. Okay, we are on the Discord. Wereworm says, evening, that's how you know it is going live. I'm just going to go ahead and switch straight to... Oh god, let's see if I can remember my cameras now. I think that is the right camera, but it's not plugged in. 1 second. You can tell this is the right one because of the gangle of windows. Gangle of gaggle. Will that just work? No, it will not. Okay, let me restart the camera. Yes, but no. There we go. Okay, so you may notice on my desk, well, the NES is back here, but that's only by dint of the fact that I dragged it over here from where I had put it in storage. Well, not in storage. I had set it aside. If you are on the Discord, you will have seen my long ago, like 2 weeks ago, picture of using it on the Apple II, or the Apple III monitor, and that is where it has been sitting this whole time. Because why not? Sorry, I'm just trying to get a shadow out of my face so y'all can see my stunning beauty. Okay, so where are we at today? So firstly, my time has been mostly taken up by working on this. This is a Christmas present that I'm putting together for some folks I know, some of whom potentially watch this channel, but shh, don't worry about it. Yeah, so this is I've been talking about it, but it's a single board 6502 trainer thing with the blinking lights and all. So it's really bare bones, and that's the idea, is that I'm trying to build a tool to help some of the developers I oversee learn how the frick a computer works. Anyway, the only reason I am still talking about this is I was working on this last night, and I had gotten... So it's really simple. There's just like this one output register that's a 6524574, and you know, a blinking light section, and then the CPU, some RAM, and the glue logic for everything. And so I had gotten the input section working. I had gotten the register working, which also involved implementing most of the glue logic. And last night I was like, okay, I can finally get around to this. Let's spend like an hour just like wiring up the last couple of things to make sure the RAM works, or you know, to get the RAM working. Because if the blinking light section is working and all of this decoding is basically working, then it's basically just a matter of soldering up the address and data lines to the RAM. So I was like, cool. And then this chip, this is a 74244 octal transceiver that I'm using for some things. And when I was debugging some shit last night, I plugged it in backwards. And so the great news of this morning, that is of no importance to anybody who is watching this video, but it bears mentioning because I just tested it out, and whew, is that I plugged it in backwards last night, and it appeared fried. But every now and then these, I'm sure it's still totally marginal, but every now and then these chips, you plug them in backwards and they get crazy hot, and it seems like they're boned for a while. Then you come back the next morning and they cooled down, and I don't know if it's like electron migration magic or what, but like they're fine again. And this is the only one of those chips that I have right now until I order parts for the final run on this, and it's working fine, or at least more or less fine. Yeah, check that shit out. Because it wasn't. That routes one of my write signals, so my deposit button wasn't working at all last night after that kerfuffle, and this morning all of a sudden it's working just fine. Anyway, that is nothing any of you care. Well, certainly you may care about it, but that is not the point of this series, so I shall put that off to the side and continue qualifying that design later. And of course, now my desk, which I had super cleaned up, 2 weeks ago, is in an absolute state of disarray again, and not set up for NES hacking. So I'm going to clean it up by doing this, and now it's all set. It's all good. So where are we at? If you, I'm kind of glad. So I did some off-stream work on this, and at this point, I'm kind of glad. Like, this was the time to have done it, because let me move some windows out of the way. Last time, oh god, OBS, drag the window I click on, please. Last time, we were working on, since I had to rejigger everything to use a completely custom cartridge PCB, because I restored the Super Mario Brothers 3, and so now it is restored. We were getting the character ROM working, and it seemed like it was doing crazy things, and I was like, oh, I thought I wired this all up, and but apparently it's wrong. But actually, let me pop this out. Toot sweet. While trying not to break it. I actually was very close. You will possibly see, yeah, you can see these two wires here. Those are for setting up the they're the CI RAM connections. So there's RAM inside of the PPU that stores name tables and such. Because generally the way you set this up is that the tiles are on the external, your whatchamadoozit, the thing that I just called it, your PPU ROM, your character ROM, there we go. And then all of the actual maps on the screen reference those, but the maps are in RAM that's in the PPU, and how that RAM is mapped is controlled by those wires, and I just hadn't wired them up at all. One of them controls, one of them is VRAM A10, one of them is CI RAM chip enable, and so one of those controls the mirroring, and one of them controls the mapping of if you're going to even use the internal RAM, the internal VRAM, which of course we're going to here. And so I connected those, and if you saw on the Discord, it's working fine now. But I'm going to start heating up the soldering iron, because last I remember, there were still issues. So but minor ones, thankfully. Let me pull this back up, and I just rebooted this machine. Hello, Matt Nottingham. He says hi. I don't know if you're familiar with the project. Let me know if you need a recap, because it's a whole bunch of silliness. And there's 2 week break. There's a bunch of news to talk about here, even though I haven't really done anything on it in 2 weeks. But hopefully, I need to get the stupid PSU thing going back on again, which means stealing the kettle plug from my scope. One moment. Look at my armpits. Because I'm only allowed one kettle plug on this bench. For no reason. Except that I just keep using the same one instead of being a non-lazy person and getting up and grabbing a second kettle plug like a maniac. Anyway, for those who have been following along at home, for reasons, I am powering the NES off of an ATX power supply. So that's what I just had to get hooked up just now. And let us find the other end of that plug. Here we are. Okay, and wow, even after a reboot, I still have to redo my RCA capture thing? Really? Let's see. Oh, actually, it's not a reboot. This computer's been sitting on. It's just not been logged in. So, because this frickin' video capture thing just stops working after a little bit. So, that's a whole thing. Yeah, there we go. So, here's the thing. Things look good now that I have done that, except there are a couple of minor doodads. So, firstly, numbers looking great. I mean, except I still have my key bouncing issues, but that's a thing that I do not give a shit about. Most symbols look good. However, alphanumerics make it go insane. So, well, just alpha, actually. Not alphanumerics, because I was just typing the numeric parts. Those work fine. So I think that's a code issue. I seriously doubt it's a VRAM issue, so everything else runs fine. So it's probably just something about how I changed that like character mapping code. So we'll need to fix that up really quick. But also, if I give this the old reset, if I do some of this, here, whoops, well, okay, that's still fine. Nope, that totally screwed things up. Let me try it again. Remembering to myself that I cannot type anything but numbers and some symbols. Anyway, you probably already see where I'm getting at. This is gonna get to the bottom, and oh, weird, the scrolling gets all screwed up. And then you see just some garbo. Oh, but then it starts over again all of a sudden. It's because my mapping is the wrong direction. So that's a hardware thing. Mapping? Mirroring. My screen mirroring, not correct. Which was a 50-50 chance. I thought I had it correct on here, but thankfully this just involves moving this wire over, and that's it. So that should be a quick and easy change, and I believe that is the VRAM A10, and now I have to remember. Right now, VRAM A10 is connected to PPU A11. I think I need to connect it to PPU A10 to get the mirroring I desire. I mean, we'll find out real quick. Alright. That has been moved. And I guess I could bring that window back. However, sure. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Okay, it still has some artifacts that are part of the code, namely that because of the screen that I use. If you watch, like this is a known bug. It's not like a quote unquote real issue. But as we scroll up, it disappears and reappears at the bottom, and doesn't that when the first line wraps, it doesn't get overwritten, and that is just because the TV that I've been using, well, the monitor, it's not a TV, it is a monitor, that's in the overscan area, so I just haven't given a shit about it. Maybe someday I'll fix that, but then when it moves up to the next line, it clears anyway. Just in case you were wondering when you saw that. So that's cool. That fixes that. The next thing is software side stuff. Why I ask, are we having issues printing alpha characters? So I propose we move over to the code and I adjust some things because this keyboard is already not great to type on, and I'm typing on it on top of a bunch of shit. So let's not do that. Or at least reduce the amount of shit. Okay. And hey, first try. I was figuring I probably couldn't remember any of my hotkeys, but no! I remember them like a pro. Okay, let's see how quickly it takes code to start up. Because we're gonna do the usual, rip through the assembly, see where obviously if you typed an alpha character it would go take a big old messy crap. So the question is it in the input routine or is it in the print routine? I feel like it's got to be in the print routine. That's the only thing we really changed last time. So anyway, that is somewhere around here. Do screen scroll. Yes, we are in print character code. Check line feed. Do. Check control. Do. Okay. So let's say we come in here with, this is where print character enters. You have the character in A. let us say that you come in here. Stop screwing with me, code. Okay. Don't know why you wanted to jump all the way down there, but I don't appreciate that. Okay, we wait for a V-blank, because you don't want to mess with VRAM not during a V-blank. Look at the tile number, blue to blue. This comment is now old, but basically we check to see if it's less than 20 and its control character. Enter works fine, so we know those are probably working just fine. Get out of here. I don't want the update right now. I am streaming Visual Studio. Blah, blah, blah. Then we load the screen address pointer, send it to the PPU, store the character, which should be an A right now, at that address, which should be totally cool, because I mean, it should just be an ASCII character, and our character layout is basically just matches ASCII right now, so that should be fine. Like, everything up to there, I don't know why. Maybe it is my input routine, but why? That hasn't changed whatsoever. Anyway. And then it goes into check to see if it needs to, it advances the cursor and sees if it needs to wrap or anything, or scroll the screen. Which, is any of this based on the character? I would not think so. Oh, we do have this. Wait. So what was in X at this point? Because we used X for stuff. We had stashed the character in X. So. But then, I mean, the fact that it doesn't make it past here, or the fact that I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be fine making it past here, is a bit of a mystery. Let me start by just introducing a print character thing again. Maybe we can just proceed, because right now we're jumping over our floppy code, which is probably the next thing that we'll get back into, because, you know, that's the thing we've been working on for literally months. But it also prints some screens. Some strings, which will tell us some stuff, because there's letters and things in those strings. And if that goes weird, then it means it is our printing, because those aren't based on input in any sort of way. Oh, right here. So, get rid of that init thing, and now it will attempt to boot from the floppy in whatever way we had been doing before. And, let's see. Should be, yeah, sector read attempt message. So it should print this string at the beginning. Let us find out. Build it. What was the name of my script? Link.ps1 for building things. Sensible. Also, Matt Nottingham had said, "Nah, I'm good. I've been following on YouTube. Can't stay long. It's bedtime here." Well, appreciate having you. I don't know if I already lost you, but always love seeing fresh faces in the old chatteroony. Okay, I think that theoretically built, so I'm just gonna run that on... Oh, wait, no. I can't just run this on FCEUX yet, because I never actually updated my my iNES image making bit of the script, so whoopsie there. Let me turn off my soldering iron before I burn down my house. We're just gonna have to burn this and try it out. Well, that's totally cool. So, oh god, what is it called? XG Pro? XG Pro. Yes, the fog is lifting from my brain. That is my ROM. Very good. Very good. Thank you, XG Pro. You nailed it. Don't check ID. Let's load. Browse. Basic.bin. Open. Make sure we do the offset thingy. Okay. Don't know what that was. Browse. Basic.pin. I mean, it was like the weather thing coming up, but I hadn't even clicked on it this time. Just, come on, man. Give me a break, Windows. And, okay. Let us get this ROM out of here. Yoop boop. Yoop boop. A program. Should have grabbed a Diet Coke before I headed down here. Dave said, can't possibly work. Oh, right, that was some of the news shares. If you're not on the Discord or you don't like really follow along on the Discord, Dave got obsessed with making... He's never had an NES, and he got obsessed with getting an NES and making his own cart to kind of parallel what I'm doing. And of course, he's way out ahead of what I've been doing. Oh, fuck. Which way around do I put this in? I think this way. I think I put it in the reasonable way. And Dave has gotten Microsoft Basic running on his cartridge, which, little bit jelly, not gonna lie, but also that's freaking cool. And I'm going to steal some of his work. All right. That didn't work at all. So that's good. So it looks like it is the character printing, because as you can see, there's just some garbage up over there. And I bet that's consistent. Sure is. Cool. Okay, so that pretty much confirms that it's character printing. But why? Which is the point at which I would love to be debugging this in FCEUX. I guess I can just go ahead and do it. It's going to put a garbage character on the screen, but that doesn't really matter. Because the FCU, the build script is basically still using the Super Mario Brothers 3 graphics, and also it's expecting to be, it has the MMC3 mapper configured and all of that good stuff, which of course we're not at all using. But our code should still run because the bank that it's in is mapped in by default. So that should be fine. Should work the same either way. The graphics are going to be weird, but all I care about right now is the code, so should be fine. Dave said, not ahead, I just fail a lot crazier. Dave said, because who needs stored programs in their BASIC? You must type in every line by hand every time you want it to execute. Yeah, so Dave was, he got it working, but he ripped out. I didn't even realize Microsoft Basic had floppy routines. I mean, like, I guess that makes sense. But I just didn't think about it. And so he yanked those out, and apparently it's causing chaos with things. But whatever. I didn't even know that was a thing that was there. Anyway. So let us run FCEUX and just break at the character printing part and see where it decides to go off into space. Probably unbalanced stack stuff. Might have something to do with expecting to have the old value of A in X, which it doesn't anymore, or the character that was looked up in X. Or rather the character index, which are now the same thing in our code, but were not in the old code. But anyway, let us open this, and presumably we'll get... Yeah, so they're nonsense garbage characters, but we get the same thing potentially, though. Let me look at memory really quick. Well, no, I was going to say, because maybe it printed the string fine, and it's just that, the mapping is all screwy, but... it definitely, like, we watched it, and it just went up all the way to the end of this line, so something screwy is afoot. What am I doing? Not open. Debug. Debugger. And let us find the address of our print character routine. It is hiding out in, where I put it, symbols.txt. Okay, apparently I did not export that thing. So I'm going to need to do that really quick, so that we can know where it is. And puncture. Yes. So I guess just dot global puncture, and that should make it show up in the symbol table when I build it. That we may easily set a breakpoint there. And it's at E5FE. So let's put a breakpoint there. Remembers all my old breakpoints. That is nice, but also not useful to me right now. E5FE. Execute. Super cool. Time to reset, you old fool. Okay. Should do it at E603 because E603 is, it's going to sit here waiting for v-blank to happen, and I don't care for that. So, E603 is when we get back from waiting for the v-blank to happen. Okie doke. Oh. Should probably specify that it gets triggered on execute. Run. Because every time it jumps back to the top of the loop, it is hitting my old breakpoint, so I do need to delete it and run. There we go. Not going to worry about the fact that the screen just changed a little bit. So, our thing is 41, which is surely an ASCII character, but let's double check, just a sanity check, and go to ASCIItable.com, the classic, and 41 is, I feel like I should know what it is. It's A, which I believe is the start of the word attempt, so that seems reasonable. So, we see if it's 20, or we see if it's 20 or less, or rather less than 20, and it's not. So, there you go. And I'm only using load Y and load X here because I don't want to clobber A. Yeah. So. And I was wondering why those numbers didn't make sense. Those are my, that's my character, my cursor address, right, in zero page. That's what those are. Write that to PPU, write the other part to PPU, and then finally jam an A into wherever that was supposed to be. I was gonna say, you think maybe it's something weird, like I didn't initialize that pointer right, like I changed that, but no, because we're printing the hyphen at the right spot. What is this about? Increase X, and then God damn it. Scrolling on this stupid little keyboard is terrible. Right, okay, so X is the low? No, X is the... Yes, X is the low portion, the least significant portion of our screen address, so that makes sense. We increment it. Cool, that seems fine. Currently has 21 in it. Sure. Increase it. Store it back into that address. And then if it did not go to 0, like if it didn't wrap, shoot, does that make sense? We go to check end of screen. Oh, so we don't increase the upper part of the address unless, right, unless it wrapped. That seems reasonable. Now we take X and put it into A to see if stuff and things, to see if the the line needs to be incremented and we need to do wrapping and stuff. So we're going to be stepping through a fair bit of stuff that I have more or less forgotten, but also kind of isn't important. So this will be fun. Doodly doodly doo. That is fine. Where are we at now? Doing PPU roll scroll stuff. Let's see. What is happening here? Load AOO. So I believe load AOO is the, or OO is the screen address, right? So presumably that's print character end because it doesn't have to do any scrolling. So let us check. Print character end, yeah, load AOO. Super cool. Story 2005. Which is the PPU scroll register. Oh, right, because you write like X scroll and then Y scroll. Fine, that's cool. So 0X scroll, whatever was in scroll value in Y scroll, which, did we not initialize this for some fun reason? What is scroll value right now? 06 has 00 now, which is correct. And we store it. And we return. And that's that. Okay. That seemed fine. That seemed totally fine. My child does not seem fine. But thankfully his mother is taking care of him. So now presumably we're back in print string. And I mean print string may be going crazy because it's trying to, like, it's not reading the 0 at the end of the string properly. Maybe. But even so. So let's make an even simpler check. Let us just throw a character in A and try and print it and see if... Well, actually, I can also, in FCEUX, I can actually check PPU memory and see if it actually wrote... It should have just written 41 directly to the first spot in... whatchamacallit? The name table. There we go. Hex editor, view PPU memory, and that will start at somewhere. I think it starts at 2000, the name tables. That looks reasonable. And there we go. There's our 41. So it seems to have written that to name table memory just fine. So I'm at a loss. That's what I was going to say. Maybe let me just try doing the world's simplest just print a character test really quick. I'm also going to check chat because I see that there have been some things going on in there. But let's maybe not be as ambitious as a whole string. Let's back up a few steps. And yeah. Because I might not... It may be that I'm just like not initializing some stuff correctly now for some reason. But we sure will find out in a second. We're filling the screen with 7 E's, which is in my I guess in the Mario cartridge that's something, and in my character ROM it's nothing. So whatever. Technically that's kind of incorrect, but doesn't matter. It's still an empty character in my ROM. Right. Also, potentially, maybe that in an APU code is screwing something up, but I don't know. Let's just do... something. What was I going to do? Let us just load a... literally the character... I don't know. Let's actually make it an A. Just because we know... Oh, wait. No. Literal... Yeah, it's been a while since I've been writing 6502 assembly. Because we saw 41 worked fine when we were just printing a character just now. Seemed to go just fine, just okay. So let's just try doing that. JSR purchase, and then jump in it. And proceed to continue skipping all the floppy stuff, just in case that's also throwing us for a complete loop. And I will build that, and I will load that, and I will run that. We'll see what it does in FCEUX. Presumably, it will put a garbage character on the screen. So that's cool. And then I will check chat a little bit, because there's been a fair bit. Open basic.nes. Little bit weird. Something changed here, and also these two appear to have also changed. So that's funky. Oh wait, maybe this is our A, and this is the hyphen. That could be. Let's just do the PPU, or not the PPU viewer, the hex editor again, just to look at that area. And can we go to PPU memory? Can I go to address? Yes, I can. 2000, please. So I've got all those 70s. Oh, apparently the emulator is just being weird, because these are all 70s. Oh, wait, no. 2D3B got written to an arbitrary weird spot on the screen. Out of curiosity, what is 2D? 2D is a hyphen. Okay, so that seems to make sense. And then 3B is maybe like a blanking character or something. Oh, wait, no. Right, it's doing the whole thing where it thinks there's it's trying to think there's my custom keyboard there, and it's not there, and it's printing some silly character that is not actually being typed. So, that looks fine. Little odd that the hyphen is all the way down here for some reason, and the A is all the way up here, but I mean, we should still see that on screen. I mean, that should, I think that's this. Oh, I'm dumb. My brain is not thinking correct, because this, I'm looking at this like these are each tiles on the screen, and this is one row of tiles, but it's not. Because they're completely, this is however many bytes wide, which does not correspond to the width of the screen at all. So this is, this is the first line, this is the second line, and then this is the third line. That's what's going on here. Okay, that seems a little more reasonable. So, after all of that futzing around, let me burn that, run it, see if we see an A on the actual NES. If we don't, then that means that something fun is going on. And then I can look at chat a bit. Read cola. No, that's not what I meant. Load. Yes. Offset. Yes. Steal this ROM. Write this ROM. Success. 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 Let's watch this not work. And then solicit the crowd for opinions. Sorry. If you've ever wondered, if you've ever seen me mess around with that before and been like, what is he doing? That ZIF socket is a little bit fucky. Let's not get that cable hooked in there. And... Uh-huh. So... Is it that my character map is just wrong? Is that a total possibility? Because I think it probably did it, but it's not producing anything. I might just do a quick debug test of printing all of the, like, 128 characters, just to see what it spits out. I'm curious if it might just not be lined up the way that I think that it works. Anyway, let's read some friggin' chat. Dave says tape routines. Yes. Should the NES have tape routines for its basic? Because it feels like maybe it should. Maybe we can use the audio output for saving to tape, but we can't load from tape, so that would be a bit silly. Cliff Cheney says, beep Cliff. Was asking if we're still on the character ROM. Yes, very much so. And Wereworm says character ROM is fine, but the print routine is acting up, which maybe it's possible that the character ROM is not fine. Cliff says, I'm actually in a US time zone. Jet lag, though. Almost missed this napping. Well, I appreciate that you made it, and I hope that you also got a good nap in there. Halion says, hey! And also that they were watching wrestling and almost forgot that I was happening. Whatever your priorities are, man. Matt took off. Sorry that I didn't catch you taking off, but goodbye. Wereworm says, I think you'll need a debugging beverage. You're probably right, but I don't have any beeroos in the house, so I might just have to go get myself a salsa. Oh, actually, I have my good old-fashioned Diet Coke, and I was thinking about grabbing one of those anyway. So thank you for giving me free reign to go do that. Dave says no, the MS Basic has tape load save. Supposedly the OSI Basic is supposedly easiest of the MS Basic versions to port. Red Kick says, what do you mean you don't have beer in the house? I drank it. That's what happened. And I have not procured. So actually, give me a hot second, and then I'm gonna, let me go get a seltzer and a Coke, and we will come back, and I am going to, just for fun, just write the world's simplest loop for looping over, just looping from 0 to 128 and printing every character in that range to the screen, to see what happens. And maybe that will tell me things about my character ROM, like the characters not being set up in it correctly. Let me do like a real quick silly test right now, just to see. What was that? Really? Download folder doesn't show up in search. Why did Windows search start sucking? Just started sucking so much. I know that's old news, but man, what happened? What was this called? YYChar. I just want to open this up and see if there was anything obviously dumb about what I had written. Like if these were clearly not in the right spot, but A is at 41. I mean, like, these map correctly. And 0 is at 30, which I would go ahead and assume is correct. 30. And we just all agreed that A was at 41. So... what? What's going on? Oh, wait, also... Wait. No. Wait. here's the question. Where did I friggin' save? Was it font.char? Okay, yeah, here we go. Anyway, so this is the same thing, just a little bit more filled out. I mean, is it that I didn't truncate this? Does this output things in some weird way? But if so, why would it tell me that that is at 41? Anyway, that's all I really wanted to do, is just poke in here and just make sure there wasn't, like, if I just looked at this, something obviously silly and incorrect. But it don't look like it. Oh, that's right. I was trying to remember how you select individual things. Don't know. No idea. So that's fun. So we'll come back and do the printing in a minute. In the meantime, enjoy this. Oh, and I will read more about Redgeck's Sun Ultra 5 when I get back. But one moment, please. Nothing like a nice, cool beverage on, while sitting in a poorly insulated basement in mid-November. Highly recommended. Right, so Redgeck, excuse me, got a Sun Ultra 5, so I thought they'd brag about it here. This is as great a place as any to brag about that. The place where I got the Quadra 500, the recycling center, had a whole bunch of spark boxes, including what I'm fairly certain was an Ultra 5. And I didn't grab any of them. I thought about it, and I was just like, maybe I'll come back at some point, take another look after I grabbed a pile of Macs. And I have not been back. So, jelly, because I don't have any, I was gonna say I don't have any spark machines. I used to, and I don't remember curbing it. I just don't know where it went to, but I used to have like a Sunfire blade thing. That was just like a spark, blade, not an actual blade, but it was just like a 1U, low power spark server. So I had that. That was the only Spark hardware I ever had. But yeah, to have some kind of Spark workstation would be, what's the word? The tits. So jelly. Redgeck says, preempting answer, yes, but it still looks cool. Sadly, I cannot boot anything on it via CD-ROM or floppy. Trying to set up a netboot at the moment. Sorry for unsolicited update. Hey, we're all about the community here. So, yeah, what the shit? Let's write a loop. Let's do it. To the screen. So this should be straightforward, but I'm gonna have to double check what shit gets clobbered when I attempt to do this. Let me look at the definition of printure really quick. Printure. Because I want to see, like, you're guaranteed to clobber X and Y 100%. It doesn't save those at all. No, it doesn't. Not even a little bit. So I'm just going to have to deal with that myself. But that's fine. Even does it do at the end here? Sets the scroll, that's it. So, back where I was, let's look for, what, hex 41? Yes. So let's just start at 0? Sure. What am I looking to do here? Load a 0, and then I am going to load Y. 0. We'll go from that direction. And then your normal loop. Print next. Sure. So I can't guarantee that A is going to be clobbered, so I'm going to have to... Let's do this. This old chestnut. Push A. Push Y. It's gonna clobber them both. And then I will pull A. Oh, this is weird. Also, PHY is not a command that I have available to me, so it would actually be, let's do transfer Y into A, push A. This is stupid. This is all stupid. Okay, that seems reasonable. Push A. None of that. Really, if I was smart, I would just do this. There you go. Okay, so now let's pull A. We're going to assume that the first thing on the stack is our current character. So pull it, and then puncture, and then blah, 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 blah. Pull A again, because that should be our Y value. Oh wait, no, I'm insane. We don't need two indexing things here. I am being so dumb. What? It's been a minute, okay? Okay, right, because our character and our counter are the same frickin' thing. So we pull it off the stack, puncture, and then let's see, let's compare it with $80 and branch if they are equal, or yeah, let's do branch if not equal. Yes? No, maybe so. Should be fine. Oh, we have to push the value back though. Oh boy, this is annoying. Do I have to like dupe A on the stack or something? Why would I do this to myself? Yes, so because this is going to corrupt A, so now I've lost A, but it also corrupts X and Y, so it's not like I can just transfer them there. So I think I just have to pull A and immediately push A again here, just so that it's back on the stack. Yeah, gross. But it's there, and then we'll pull A again, and then compare it. Transfer A, Y, in Y, compare 80, and then what? Because I want to stash it again. I guess I can just... This is silly. But transfer Y back into A and push it again. And for good measure, I mean, it's not like it super matters, but I will also pull A at the end of this loop just so that the value is not there anymore. Okay, let's see if this makes sense. So first I push a 0 onto the stack, then I pull off the current value, push it back on for stashing, but it's also an A, so then we call print character, which will totally screw it up. So we will pull that stashed value version of it back off the stack again, move it into Y, increment it, move it back into A, push it, then compare it to 80, and if it was not 80, then we jump back to print next. Yeah? Yeah, maybe? I don't know. Is anybody yelling at me that is silly? Redgeck said, netboob. Wareham said, start at 21, check the regular characters first. Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking the same thing, but if someone else says it, then it makes sense to me too, because otherwise I'm going to print a bunch of control characters that I don't support. And Redgeck says, why would I do this to myself? I keep asking myself that too. I mean, is that not life? Is that not just what life is? Oakley dokley. Let's burn that shit. Yay, it did the thing. Okay. Back you go. Fingers crossed. Interesting. I mean, that somewhat follows my expectation in that, like, that's what I see. Symbols work, par exemple. Numbers work, but it's like because it also didn't crash and go off into space, so it's not that. It's just that, like, the alpha characters aren't there. So that's fascinating. So it looks like the last good one is question mark. What's the deal there? Let me look back at YY character. YY char. However the original author wishes it to be pronounced. Which apparently I shut down. Whoops. I figured, why, I won't need that. Why would you need that later? I don't need that. Open. The fun thing being, if I like burned the wrong character data to that ROM, now I have to figure out how to burn it in situ, which was already a question. So yeah, it's like everything after here doesn't work, which could be a mapping problem, right? Maybe potentially just one of my wires is not correct, right? That's possible. What would that even be? Because in actual memory terms, let's see. I don't even know where is that? Where is this? Where is this character? This at is at 40, but you've got the whole insaneness of I believe the way that these are done is like whatchamacallit, they're planar. So heck, let's just do some interesting info diving really quick, because I haven't looked this up much. I was just gonna let YYChar do everything for me, but maybe, yeah, where it says address line screw up, I'm kind of thinking the same. But hell, you know what? Let me I do want to look up this the tile format because I am vaguely curious because I haven't really read up on it that much, and I would like to know more. But it would also be interesting if it's just like an obvious wiring screw up that I can see on here. So let us see. Just looking for any bad solder joints or such. But it could also just be like, it could be a transposed line. Is also possible. But I'm figuring if I look at the graphics format. Nope, that looks fine. If I look at the graphics format, then it should tell me which address lines I should be paying attention to. Just seeing if anything obvious pops out to me. No, not really. Everything looks more or less wired in. So let's look at that graphics format and see what address line would be at that character 40 change. Because of course, character address does not directly correspond with memory address. It somewhat corresponds with memory address, but it does not directly correspond with memory address. And by somewhat, I mean it's, you know, there's a linear relationship between the two, but it's just not one-to-one. Yes, nesdev.org. I don't even know what to look under. NESdev wiki. Tile format. If I just search for PPU, it should get me there eventually, right? PPU. Bloobity bloobity blue. Pattern tables. Bloobity bloobity blue. Right. Bit planes. The pattern table is an area of memory connected to the PPU that defines the shapes of tiles that make up backgrounds and sprites. Each tile in the pattern table is 16 bytes, made of 2 planes. So I don't think I really have to care about this because I think, well, we'll keep reading, but I think that the planes just means that it's like a byte followed by a byte, as opposed to like each bit in a byte corresponding to 1 pixel. It's that like each byte, you almost overlay them to get the 2-bit value of any given pixel. I think that's all they're saying here. So I think all I need to care about is that I multiply my character number by 16. Or no, sorry, it's 16 bytes, not 16 bits. So I multiply it by, well, yeah, I multiply the address by 16. First plane controls bit 0 of the color. So right, sorry, it would be not that the two bytes overlap, that 2 sets of 8 bytes overlap, I think. Yes, so for example, zero, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. Yeah, so that's what I thought. Is the first 7 bytes are the first plane, the next 7, or the first 8 bytes are the first bit plane, the next 8 bytes are the second bit plane. They overlap on each other to make a 2-bit value. So yes, all I really have to care about is tiles are 16 byte chunks. So let me actually XVI32 it up right now. And let us open, just so that I can also sanity check things. Not System32. That is not, in fact, where my code resides. Documents. It's just a PC. NES. Font.char. So we got a bunch of empty lines, which I think makes sense. Let us see. Yeah, and you can... Oh, wait. I was going to say you can kind of see that bit plane thing going on here. No, this looks weird, right? Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, no. That is. So you've got, like, for example, some pixels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we're only using the colors 0 and 1 for these characters. So the second bit plane for any character is totally empty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That makes sense. So now, let me do the math. What's that? It's just going to be 40 left shifted by 4. So that would be 400. That's easy. So 400, if I did that right, should be where our A is. That looks fine to me. You wanna thaw this for fun? Notepad, the most advanced of all programming tools. Okay, so 7C is 111 100 89 ABC. Used to have these memorized. And then 8 2 9A 9A AA 9E. This is a silly exercise. Obviously, there is something here that should be showing up, but and now I can look at that address line because it's probably the one that corresponds to it's the 400 line. So that will be easy to look at because that's almost certainly what it is. But I just want to reconstitute this for fun as a learning exercise for myself. Anyway, where were we? 9E 1110 80 is, yep, 78, and that's it. And then, I mean, that's it. That's the whole thing, because we don't have, I mean, like, we could combine these all with the other byte, but they're all zeros, so could be doop, doop, doop. This is how it's all going to look anyway. The most significant bit is just going to be 0. Are you having fun yet? There you go. Does that look like an A? I don't know that it does. Interesting. Oh, it's an at. That's what. Right, because I'm not looking at 41, I'm looking at 40. I see it now. Can you see it? It's an at. It's an at. That's probably more obvious if I hadn't explained that, but... Da, 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 da. Dave said, it's just 8 bits for the tile number. The last 64 bytes of the table are the attribute bits for the palette. Yep. Dave said, oh, and the patterns are planar. Yes. Yep. The bit planes thing that we were just talking about. And Red Kick said, I'm sure if your code was in System 32, Windows would be better off. I don't know that I agree with you. Anyway, so I know this is the file that I burned to that ROM. So it's in there. Pretty much totally an address line thing, but that means, oh my god, so it's the 400 line, which is very, very easy, but this would be 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, nope, what am I doing? 1, 2, 4, 8, 10, that's what I want to do. 10, 20, 40, 80, 100, 200, 400. So it's a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Again, that is an easy thing, but my brains. PPU A10. Did I screw up something by putting the VRAM A10 line there? Looks fine to me. Okay, let's see where A10 is supposed to be on the JEDEC standard. It's between OE and CS. I actually have this more or less memorized at this point, but I'm going to check my work. This is a CAT 28C256. CAT 28C256. Which is a standard JEDEC thing. Give me that pin out, sir. Okay, so yes, A10 is data 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, chip enable A10. Or, alternatively, pin 21. Pin 21 starts at 15 on that side, pin 21. And I'm going to get this notepad out of my way. Don't save. I don't need that saved. All right. Ready for beepage? Beepage. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Wait, let me get this where you can see it. There we go. Just so it's only because to make sure I'm not going crazy, where A7 would be the 80 line. No, it'd be the 100 line. No, it's the 80 line. Yes. Which, let me sanity check this again. If that's the 80 line, then A8 is the 100 line. A9 is the 200 line. A10 is the 400 line. Yeah, cool. All right, so that was 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. And that should be going to A10. And of course, I have put my wrist directly on top of this thing. Wow, look at that. No connectivity to PPU A10. How about A11? Oh yeah. Yep, I have transposed some lines. Yay! That should make things easy then. So that was, now that you can actually maybe see. I hope Cliff Cheney didn't go back to take a nap, because he should be beeping at me right now, but 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. And this is A10. Nothing. A11. Everything. So now we see A11. Where is A11? A11 is 23. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Is that on A10? Yep, literally just transposed A10 and A11. So that's good. I have no idea how I did that, but that makes things easier. Or maybe I should say it's not as bad as I thought it might be. Wareham says, was thinking 3F is fine, 4O is not. Right, but a character has more than one byte, so I had a brain fart. Yep, they're left shifted by 4, because they're 16 bytes. Rick says, if only someone would do beep as a service. Bass. Well, but then you have to have a good infosec team, because if you're running this company that supplies bass, you really want to make sure that your people are well aware of and trained in not getting scam emails, because you're going to get a lot of bass fishing. Anyway, do I qualify as a dad now? That having a child isn't enough. You have to be able to do the dad jokes. All right, let's see. 15. Am I doing this right? Nope. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck off of my pins. Transposed address lines on my pins, it's more common than you may think. Okay, so that needs to go up, and then we have CS, and then we have our rightful A10. And hopefully my original wires are just long enough to swap. It's a good thing that these are relatively close to each other. Only a pin away. It's just a pin away. It's just a pin away. Oh, on my charm. It's just a pin away. It's just a pin away. And now, this is the fun thing about doing this fine Kynar wire, bajillion wires, point-to-point construction, is finding a fun way to weave things around each other when you need to do rework. I'm kind of joking and kind of not joking about it being fun. It really is 50-50. Like I've said before, I like doing this kind of point-to-point construction because it's satisfying, like making jewelry. Okay, that is one swapped. And come on. I need to get like a microscope in here so you can see all my good weaving work. Because of course when you're building it, you don't have to worry about that. You just kind of layer things as you go and you don't even think about it. But then when you get back to it, they're all crisscrossed and on top of each other and it's a bunch of horse shit. And, you know, if you're going to move things around, you want to at least do it in a somewhat clean way. As clean as you can call any of this stuff. And these tweezers do not like grabbing this wire. That is the problem I'm having right now. Oh my god, come on. I'm just trying to get the tip of this wire out from underneath another wire, and it is kind of going now. Here we go. Here we go. You've done it. You've solved it. Also, it constantly amazes me as I'm doing this kind of construction how much freaking abuse these little tiny wires can take before they actually have a stress failure. Because they're so fine. You'd think it would be really, really easy to snap them. But they are surprisingly robust. Alright. Unless I just transposed them, unless I just desoldered them and put them directly back in the same wrong location they were before, which I would not put past myself. That should be the fix. Shunk. All right, as usual, taking bets. Red Geck gave me a snare emoji. And where I'm trying to figure out what that was. YouTube rendered that emoji really weird, but Wareworm sent me I believe that is a fishing line being cast emoji. Brilliant. Red Geck, Halion said, Red Geck, just pay your friendly local protogen. Yeah, go for it. If you guys want to make beef as a service. Oh my god, you know, okay. When we finish this, you know, sometime early next year, let's have a break project where literally I'm gonna take this, we're gonna figure out some way of Internet of Thingsing this bullshit and putting it on like a little, like a DMZ somewhere in my network, and making it so that when any client who is connected can trigger a beep sound in their browser whenever this goes to 0 ohms. Okay, let's do it. Let's fucking do it. But I won't hear the beep locally. I don't want to. It's just, if you want to pull it up in your browser, you can hear me beep. This is how we will do it. Or it would be even better if, like, you know, someone else, like if Halian built that page and then provides me the service of beeping for my thing when I connect it up to the internet and subscribe to Halian's beeps as a service. I think I like that better. I think that makes more sense. All right, let's flip this thing on and cross our fingers. Cool. All right, I don't know if we have more problems. Oh, no, we actually don't. That's the 7Es. 7Es totally are a thing. You know what it is? It's a tilde. Let me actually check the ASCII spec, if that actually is right, or if it's just some kind of weird duplication. But remember when I was saying that that is actually technically an issue? Let's see. 7E is a tilde. Look at that, right there. Bam! Cool. Solved. We need to update the code a little bit, because it shouldn't be printing 7Es, it should be filling the screen with zeros. But there you go! Super sick. We are in business again. And we should be able to... Yay! I don't know what... Oh, did I add a command in here at some point to print hello for a certain key? I think I vaguely remember that. But yeah, that looks gorgeous. So what do we do now? Let's see, I've been streaming for an hour and a half. I'd be willing... I could go for another hour. To work. Ooh, look at my belly. Don't look at my belly. To implement something else, or at least get started on it, because, you know, y'all have been waiting a while, so it would be silly not to. Which leads me to, I mean, obviously I fix this up. I fix up the tildes, which will be a quick change. And then get back to the floppy stuff. Now that we're finally back where we were before I went crazy and disassembled the Super Mario Brothers cartridge. Yeah. So, do we go back to attempting to read sectors? I mean, we were able to read a sector at one point, which was super cool. On the GoTech. So maybe I get back to that. I don't know. I'm gonna fix this tilde thing really quick, and then y'all let me know. Y'all think about it. Because I don't know what direction I want to go here, but let me just quickly fix this. No more tildes in the house. We want to fill the screen up with zeros. I think it's literally just the, just that section that uses the 7E. Load. Load. Offset. Okay. Grab the chip. Take a dip. Ooh, chips. Feeling snacky now. I'm in one of those silly places lately where we've resumed going to Costco. We have several people, and we have a baby now in the house too, so getting them both deals. So we're attempting to become a Costco family again, but that means that I'm in this position now where the house is full of food, but none of it is snacks. So I keep looking. It's like the peak dad thing to do. Is like I keep looking in the pantry and the refrigerator, and like they're full of ingredients, but I'm like, oh, there's nothing to eat because I'm a lazy piece of shit. So that's my life lately. For anyone who is interested. Oh, I didn't change my screen. I programmed it. I was busy programming it. There you go. I was too wrapped up in talking about Costco foods to tell you. I had to show you that I was programming. Oh my god, this stupid ZIF socket. It's that some of the like leaf contact things in here are bent so that they're quite close together, and it is a pain sometimes to get it lined up and in. But there we go. There we go. It's in. Okay, and it's upside down. After all that work, I put the chip in upside down. There we go. No more tildes. Why am I trying to use this keyboard? Yay, look, E's and F's. That was the main thing. Is that those were not printing before, but now we're good. Yay. Let me just, for fun, print out our 0 page. Yay, look at all those fun 0 page numbers. Sorry, that might have been a bit of a laugh, but Wareroom says, you should fix the generation of the ROM file to work in the emulator. Oh, yeah, it wouldn't be too hard. Maybe that would be a fun... I mean, you're watching, so I guess that was the whole point, is saying, what do people want to see here? And then maybe next weekend we can get back to floppy things. Might be nice. Yeah, I like that. That's something. And it's a nice small coding project, so... Redgex said, I can't believe I forgot and had to look up if you put HTTP version before or after GET. It's the last parameter, isn't it? I always forget this, whether it's... And I'm writing... I mean, one of my silly side projects I've been working on lately, I haven't touched it in a bit, but is every now and then I enjoy just writing HTTP services in straight C with sockets. Because I like writing incredibly insecure software. But so every time that I decide to do a project like that, I have to, completely rewrite. Because if I'm writing in C, it's because I don't want to, I don't feel like using somebody else's libraries. I want to do a soup to nuts thing just for fun. So it's another one of those, and every time I do that, I have to re-remember things. And so I think it's verb, path, HTTP version? I think. I could look up my code and tell you. Or I could literally just look at a browser. Either way. But anyway, sorry. The thing that made me laugh was Redgex some force insertion socket. I guess is wiggling a force. It's not like it needs to be jammed in there. It's just that like you gotta wiggle the thing in there to like push the leaf. I'm just gonna call them leaf contacts. That's not what they are, but the little paddles in there up, like just to jiggle them just right, because they're about as far apart as the leg is wide. So if it's not lined up just right, doesn't really go in properly. And Redgex said, also hooray, and reinvent all the wheels. That's what we're about here. It's not about efficiency, it's about fucking off. Anyway, Wareworm is the loudest voice in the room, so we are going to... we're just going to turn off the NES for today because that's that. We have solved all of the NES problems, and now it is toolchain work, which is I would not have called toolchain work being the hot commodity, but there it is. There we go. Also, maybe we can screw around a little bit with. I mean, I know it's not the project for this thing, but as an aside, so this guy is it's one of SparkFun's FTDI breakouts, because what I'm figuring here, well, I can get back to it when I'm done there, but I'm assuming that this toolchain stuff won't take very long, and I want to poke with my team. All it's front end and back end people, but we have 2 front ends, and then the rest of us are back ends on our team. So we're mostly C#, and I've not used the C#, the standard .NET serial port libraries before. Usually if I need to like throw something together really quick for serial port stuff, I'll use Python. But if I want to use this as a learning tool for them, I want to use C# because most of them know C#. And the whole thing is, there's this FTDI on there, and I would like to play around with doing that. So I might just do that in stream, because I haven't had a chance yet. And that's one of the things I want to qualify about this board, is that I think the general design is fine, but there's some software side of things that I am not 100% with, and I want to qualify them on this board before I wrap up my design and ship off for boards. So anyway, might mess with that. But yes, so for the tool chain, let's go back to my screen. I just think a functioning emulator will come in handy soon. Right, it said famous last words. But we're getting into the place where the emulator becomes. I'm going to keep going on this, but where the emulator becomes less and less relevant. I mean, somewhat relevant for debugging raw code stuff, but like for output, it's not like the screen output really matters, because most of the stuff we're going to be debugging as we press forward are the floppy access routines, which, that's not helpful in the emulator, because even if I hacked up a source available NES emulator to include some floppy controller emulation, I would have to know why things are going wrong with this floppy disk in order to emulate them correctly over here, which kind of doesn't, it defeats the purpose. I would have to know what the problem is, in which case I would have by definition solved the problem. But for like porting basic and stuff, I suppose. And either way, it's just some nice little pleasant work to do. So the way this works, it's a very stupid way of doing things, but this is, I always am like, I'll clean this up at some point, like whether I start with making like a little shitty build script or a little shitty make file, because I always write make files that are like insanely verbose, because I forget all the tools for like, get all of the .o files in this folder and make, repeat this rule for all of them, as opposed to, hand writing the rule for every single source file in the project, stuff like that. But then I'm like, but I'll get back to it and I'll clean it up. But no, it always stays exactly like this. It doesn't ever get any better. I never go back to it. But so the build script as it currently stands is pretty straightforward. It just calls the assembler to assemble an object file from our assembly and then calls the linker with our link configuration to actually take that object file and turn it into our binary for the ROM. But then an NES ROM image for an emulator is not, because NES cartridges are weird, it's not just like a linear ROM image. It is a little INES header which says what kind of hardware is on the cartridge, so that the emulator knows what kind of cartridge to emulate. And then I think it's program ROM and then character ROM. So what we've been doing is this basic.bin is our output binary from linking, which only corresponds to our program ROM. And we dump that into this tools injector folder, which is a C# project, which is unnecessary, but whatever. And then we go into that directory and then just do a .NET run to build and run the injector project. And so then that leads us to the injector project, which is the thing that we're actually going to be changing. Let's see. Because all injector does is it opens the Super Mario Brothers 3 NES file. It opens the output, the basic.nes image that we're going to be making, and it opens the basic.bin that we just dumped into that folder. And it copies the first 16 bytes from Super Mario Brothers 3, which is the INES header, into the basic.nes file. Then it writes... That's actually interesting. Writes 64K of zeros for some reason. Why am I doing that? Oh, wait, right, because the Super Mario Brothers 3 physical mask ROM is twice as big as the one that I'm using. So, right. So I put 64K in there first, or something, then write 64K of... Right, actually no, it's not even that. It's that, unless I do some real messing around, CA65 will only output up to a 64K image. So it's a 128K mask ROM, so I just fill it with zeros, and then the other half I put in the thing. That was why we were doing that. And I don't need to do that anymore. I can't remember how I have this mapped up now, because a bunch of these address lines just don't do anything anymore, if I remember correctly. I remember what I did there, because this is this is a 128K. Well, let's see. What's in a name? It's a 29EE010. I was thinking it might have something like 256 in the name or something, because those, like the 256 ROM that the 28256, whatever that standard name is, that I'm using for the character ROM is definitely, it's a it's 256. That's what the 256 is about. It's 256 by 8, which means 32 kbytes of ROM, and I think this is a 128K ROM that I'm using for the program ROM. So shall I just do the same thing? I think I'm fine to just wait 1 second. Let me look it up again. So it's a 29EE010. Just so I can remember how big it is. I think it's 128, but 29EE010. It's a 128. So yeah, that should be fine then. So we can just keep on with that part. I don't care. That will work fine. And then there's the thing that we have to change at this point is the char content. Well, yeah, we also have to change the INES header. So let me just go ahead and rip that part out right now. Delete that shit. Also, let's call this... Again, very rare I could just like use shell commands to do this, but too late. And literally I'd just be concatenating these 3 files together. It would be very straightforward. But we're doing this now. So I'm just going to rename this to PRG ROM stream, and what am I going to call this? CHR ROM stream, and this was my where is that going to be? That will be in... This is going to be one up from injector, which puts me in the tools folder. This puts me in the source folder, and then the character ROM is actually one up from that. I know how silly all of this is. Don't worry. I know. And that is font.chr. So let's just do header data equals new byte 16, but also set the bytes. And you know what? Right, this line completely disappears because we're not reading from the in-ROM stream anymore. And the out-ROM stream, let's just totally replace this with new byte 16, and handwrite the bytes in here. I'm allowed to do this, right? What is it? Yeah, just bitching that I don't have 16 bytes of information here. What's in a comment? Right, Inez header herder. And I believe I have been told, let's see, some things about the mapper that I need to use, but I don't remember. Let's see. Just really quick, Redgex says, at work, I made a makefile that will get a cross-compiler from ARM and libs from vendor and et cetera, and build target depends on all that, so you just git clone, make, and off you go. It all just works. That's beautiful. I mean, make is surprisingly useful. If you have dependencies between any files for a process, use make. It's right there. Every system has it. The only big problem with make is the incompatibilities between all of the various versions of make. That gets me every frickin' time. Right, so I'm looking at mapper. I think there's it's like mapper 0 is the one I want, because I want something that is flat. Excuse me. Wait. Here it comes. Oh, Lord. Oh, God. Okay. NROM, which is an Inez mapper 000. The generic designation NROM refers to the Nintendo cartridge board's blah-de-blah-de-blah, blah-de-blah-de-blah. It is Inez mapper 0, blah-de-blah-de-blah. Program ROM size 32K, not bank switched. There is program RAM. 8K character ROM, which is, unless you have any kind of character ROM mapping, that's the max. Excuse me. And then the mirroring is going to be set by a setting in the Inez file. And, I mean, this might be fine for current uses, but if they had one that is 64K, because I can't remember if I just grounded. I think I just grounded the high address line on this chip so that it only shows up as 64K, but I can't remember. It's either that or it's, well, I mean that would make it mirrored. So I'm pretty sure it's it shows up in memory as two mirrored 64Ks. No, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah. There would only be 32K available max here because, yeah, God, I don't even remember what I'm doing here. I think I have the ROM mapped to the entirety of, I don't even remember now what I have it. I definitely have it mapped to the top, the top. Oh, the top something is something. I don't know. Let's just go with the 32K NROM. I think that's fine. So we'll just grab the last 32K from this ROM, I think, and we'll use it. We'll use this. I think that's fine. First, yeah. So first 16K from 8000 to BFFF, and then from C to FFFFF is the other 16K. So I think that is fine. I think that is totally fine. Yes. So in the code, the image is going to be 64K. It always is. Oh, 1 second. I need to look up the format for the INES fields. INES header format, which is probably an NES dev. Yes, look at that. First result. Every time. Red Gex says, I'm informing you that I just gave up on NetBoot for the Sun machine because I am mentally drained by cryptic OpenBSD errors from misconfiguring my network. Usually OpenBSD has good docs, but I guess I am a dummy because I don't know what's causing this. I have never had good luck at netbooting any kind of Unixy system. When I first got my Octane that has sadly left me years and years ago, yeah, you know, they don't come. I didn't have any SCSI hardware sitting around, and it had a drive in it, but there's no spot for 5 1/4 inch. There's no 5 1/4 inch bay in an Octane. You can fit like 2 hard drives in it, but there's no place where you could put a SCSI CD-ROM. You'd have to have an external CD-ROM or netboot the thing. So I was like, well, I have an Ethernet cable and I have other boxes, so instead of spending some money on SCSI hardware and a CD drive and everything, I'll just try netbooting this thing. And I swear to God, for a week, I think every night for a week after work, I just tried to get IRIX netbooting and couldn't do it. Could not do it. It was a pisser. But let's look at this INES header format to see. Boo, 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 boo. Header, 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 header. Format of the header is K. So the first things are 4E45, 4E45, 531A, NES magic number. Subsequently, size of program ROM in 16K units. So let's just go ahead and I'm assuming that's going to be 2. I'm assuming it's not 0 indexed, or you know, that 0 is an equivalent to 16K. Size of character ROM in 8K units. That is going to be, or let's do this. Size of PRG ROM times 16K. And this is 0x01. Size of char ROM by 8K. Flags 6. Cool. Always love me a good bit field. I want horizontal mirroring, I believe. No PRG RAM, no trainer. Don't want to ignore mirroring. And the mapper number. So that's going to be mapper 0, so that's 0000, 000, 0. I think this is just all 0. Let's see. Flags 6. Horizontal, or wait, no, I always get confused. I want vertical mirroring. I do. I want the layout to be horizontal, which means I want them to be mirrored vertically. Hurtly-dirtly-dur. Vertical mirroring. No. SRAM. No trainer. Do not ignore mirroring. Mapper 0. Next, flags 7. I'm pretty sure literally all zeros as well. Flag 7. I'm just going to say flags 7. Excuse me. Mapper 0. Flags 8. Size of program RAM in 8 kilobyte units. I'm guessing that should be 0. Flags 8. No PRG RAM. Flags 9. I guess I will say this is NTSC. Flags 9. NTSC. Flags 10. TV system again. All right. Program. Oh, okay. So program RAM is 1 for not present, and I guess bus conflicts is just going to be a 0. I don't care. This byte is not part of the official specification, and relatively few emulators honor it. Interesting. Huh. Well, regardless, I am going to set that program RAM bit, so that should be 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, so that's going to be 1, 1, 0. Flags 10, NTSC, no PRG RAM. And is that the whole thing? And 11 through 15 are unused padding, which I'm sure a bunch of those other ones are too, but whatever. Padding. What was that? 1, 2, 3, well, this is 11 through 15, that's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 5. That, but whoops. Okay, so that is the most difficult part of this, which is figuring out the format of the INES header. And there you go. There it is. We're not going to write 64K of zeros anymore. We are, in fact, since we are saying that it is a 32K ROM, what we're going to do... this is also silly. I could just stream from one thing right to the other one, but shh, don't worry about it. This is PRG ROM stream. PRG ROM stream, because we renamed things. And we are going to do, this is the offset, right? Yes, offset. So my offset is going to be 32K. And this is going to be a 32K buffer, and we're going to read 32K from the end of this image. And then we are going to write 32K into the output ROM. There we go, adjusted. Char content is going to be 8K now. And this is not in ROM stream, this is now character ROM stream. Same thing here. Char ROM stream. Cool, but this also needs to be adjusted to 8K, 8K, cool. Okay, I think that is everything. Again, could have totally been completed by just making an INES header, like binary file, and then just having a script that concatenates them all together. But whatever. Okay, what are you complaining about? What did I get wrong? Interesting. Line 22. Well, for starters... Oh no, I am in the right folder. So... how big is my ROM? What am I screwing up here? Offset and length were out of bounds of the array. But why? It's a 32K array. Oh, wait, is that offset in... is this offset into the stupid thing? Do I have to do like a skip? PRG ROM stream.seek. Yeah, I do. 32 times 1024. Yeah, that offset is not offset in the stream. It's the offset into the target buffer. Whoops. And seek origin begin. There we go. Whoopsie on that one. Yay. Okay. Let us totally restart FCEUX. And open. Okay. So, it sure doesn't think that my character ROM has anything in it. That's fun. Well, let's look at the rest of RAM. Let me look at... where should I look? Let's look at the end of RAM. Okay, so that much looks rightish. Because this is my reset vector, and that's in the right spot. So the code looks right, but that character ROM looks screwy. Is there anywhere where I can look at the INES properties of this file? INES header editor. Neat. Okay, so it says it's an NROM, it's an INES, 32K program ROM, no program RAM, 8K character ROM, NTSC. It looks like I did everything right. Normal, no trainer. That looks fine. Also a pisser that apparently I could have edited this myself and just saved that. God damn you. God damn you, myself. But yeah, apparently it does not see anything in my character ROM. That's funky. Let us hex edit the file. Open. And what do I do? Source, tools injector, basic.nes, and so the character ROM should be at the end. Maybe. Hold up now. This shouldn't have so much stuff in it. But also it has a ton of stuff in it, so why on earth? Well, let's see. What is... The end of the file is 6000... Oh, no. 6000B makes sense because we have the... Or, yeah. This weird ending is because of the offset. So, 32K... 4K is 1000 hex, right? So 16K is 4000 hex, I think. So 32K would be 8000 hex. So why is this at 60,000 hex? Interesting. I must have whiffed something. Let's see. Can I go to... Where's go to address? Oh, address, go to. Let us go to... Yeah, 8000 would be the end of 64K, because that makes sense, because that's half of the address space of a 64K system. Yeah, right. So, 8000F. Yep, 8000F right there is where the ROM code ends, where the program ROM ends. And then this is where character ROM starts. And clearly something is going horrifically wrong. There. So, let's figure out what that is. I bet it's pretty obvious when you look at it. So, everything up to here looks fine. Writes the binary, looks good. Oh, what the hell? What? Who wrote that? You were watching me do that, right? Who? No, nobody caught that. Nobody caught it. Going back to the net booting thing, Redgeck says, "Oh God, is this what I got myself into? A week of pain?" Also, I'm sorry for all the off-topic. I just don't know anything about NES. Bless you, sir. Neither do I. This is the running thing about this project, is I have never done NES programming before this. And granted, now I've been doing it for a couple months because I've been working on this project, but still. Oh, that's the other thing. Okay, no, that wasn't that. This was the seek I had changed up here on line 22. Oh, right. Because we were doing a seek because of the big ass Super Mario Brothers ROM thing. That's why. And we weren't doing that no more. Okay, let's try this again. FCEUX.exe. File open that thingy. There we go. Sweet. Well, I hope Wereworm is still watching, because there you go. You got what you wanted. I might implement the keyboard. I don't know if FCEUX is source available. I hope it is. But if it is, I might implement the keyboard input device. Might be fun for debugging some stuff, even if I can't debug the floppy thing. But there we go. There's that. Give me one more hot second, and I'm going to come back and see how much I can poke around with the totally unrelated project, because I want to do that, and for no other reason. And that's all I have to say about that. Okay. Oh, Dave says, check your DMs. Nintendulator has source and is more accurate. Cool, good to know. I who knows if I will ever actually implement my keyboard device in that, but it would be a fun little side project. But we don't really need any more fun little side projects. Anyway, I am going to post up the thing again, take a quick whiz, be right back, and see if my intuitions about doing stuff, some bit-banging stuff with this FTDI, are warranted. Worm said, add a floppy drive to your Xmas project. I don't know if it was you, but somebody at the top of chat said that I need to add a floppy interface. Yes, but also the whole point is to make it as simple as I possibly can. So anyway, beer. All right, let's get this horse shit that nobody cares about out of here. Right out of here. Oh, that's weird. What the heck was that setting? Oh, wow. My F1 binding is apparently just that camera, which, that could be useful, but I like to be able to see my beautiful shining face. Because I am a narcissist. How many times am I going to do that? Yeah. Okay, so let's get this stupid bullshit that nobody cares about out of here. Nobody wants to watch some stuff about a Nintendo. I mean, what even is that? Except a lot of fun, I guess. You know, if that's what you're into. Where can I put this? I'm gonna go store it around the corner. Back on top of the Apple III monitor it goes. And grab the keyboard as well. Okay, so here's what I want to do. Let me describe to you my thoughts. Like I was saying, I didn't want to flesh them all out before we got to this point. But, you know, basic design on this thing. I wish I could get this camera closer. I really can't. Oh my god, that is unflattering to my belly. But I also have an unflattering belly. So, here's the thing. Here's the whole project. It works basically as you would expect. I kind of described it earlier, but dip switches for address, dip switches for data, dip switch for run or program mode, deposit switch, and then the entire memory space is memory. This RAM is it is a 32K RAM, and it's mapped to the low 16K the low 16K of the RAM are in the low 16K of address space. The high 16K are in the high 16K of address space, and then the 32K in the middle maps directly just to this register. So that's the entirety of the mapping. That's all this thing has going on. And then as well, the the data switches are wired up in such a way that when you're in run mode, they are a read to the middle 32K is a read from the state of these switches, except I thought it was a clever little design hack is I'm using, because this is basically just a bunch of bus transceivers to disconnect the front panel section when we're in run mode. But when the direction switches to run mode, it also swaps the top 3 inputs onto the data bus from being the dip switches to just being 3 arbitrary inputs. And so Ben Eater's recent video on bit bang serial on a 6502 actually got me thinking, because I was trying to simplify the design of this thing, because I was going to put a UART in, but I also wanted a user register so that we could, output some pretty blinking lights under program control. So my brilliant idea is that I am going to do bit bang UART to the FTDI, and it's just going to be, a couple of these are going to be bit bang outputs to the FTDI, or bit bang inputs from the FTDI, and then, just one of these will also be wired up directly to the FTDI, is the plan. But so here's the thing, is I need to make sure, because my other thought is, of course, the thing is this thing has no ROM. That's kind of part of the point, is so that people don't have to sit there and, I don't want my people to have an EEPROM programmer or something. So you toggle everything in. It's old school. But so what I'm thinking, and this is why I want to figure out software stuff for that. That's why I'm doing this. AI Incorporated says, wow, I actually made it in. Except you made it to the very end part of the stream where I'm not even talking about Nintendo anymore. Whoops. Anyway, since Bitbang RS-232 is not code-wise very small, I'm thinking what I want to do is like a 2-stage bootloader situation where we will first stage, well, I guess 0th stage, I guess it still is the first stage. The first stage is as minimal as I can write it, toggle in a little bit bang protocol that will use like DTR and CTS to do a very slow synchronous protocol between the machine and the board to load in a second stage bootloader that actually has the Bitbang RS-232 in it that will then be able to read the second stage payload, or I guess read the actual payload, your third stage, from the machine over RS-232 at a higher speed is my thought. AIO Incorporated said, yeah, I kind of figured it out, but hey, can't blame me for trying. So anyway, all I really want to do here is I guess just wire up an LED to DTR and CTS just to, I mean, what do I want to do? Here's what I'll do. I'm going to take maybe the high order LED from this thing, because check it out. This totally works, and this actually, it was so fun to sit and poke with the other day when it was working. Oh my god, where did I put the USB cable that I was using for power? I mean, did some idiot just shove everything to the back of my desk and then act like that was fine? What a chud. Here we go. Okay. So, right, so if I go to 8000, which selects that register when I do writes to it, I can just write to the output register. So what I can play with is like if I wire one of the bit bangable signals that are inputs on the FTDI that are normal serial, I think that would be CTS, because CTS is clear to send, so I think that's the one that the device is telling the machine it's clear to send data to the device. I will double check this. But so I can like take this and just wire it straight to CTS, and then check in some C# code if I can see that CTS is on by, you know, toggling this on and off and double checking. And then go the other way around where I think I will, yeah, DTR is data terminal ready. So I think it's DTR. Put an LED that just will show me the status of DTR, and I don't have a CPU in here yet or anything, so won't really be able to read from it because I have to be in run mode and stuff. But regardless, I can see via the LED if my code is turning DTR on and off. So that's my goal right now. That's the little simple, easy thing that I wanted to do really quick. As a proof of concept, since I have a little bit of time. So, join me, won't you, as I do a little bit of hardware stuff, and then a little bit of software stuff, and make sure this theory kind of works. The hardest part of, or hardest, I don't know if that's the biggest open question so far is still how small and efficient can I make a assuming the hardware part of this works the way I want it to, how small can I make that first stage synchronous serial protocol code? Because I think I could probably make it fairly small, but you know, there's a limit on what these people are going to be willing to toggle in. And I have no idea what my freaking strippers are. Strippers! They were in a very convenient place before I upset this whole table. Anybody see them? Little brass things. Little brass monkey. That chunky monkey. Brass monkey funky. That chunky monkey. Oh, that will put a damper on things if I can't find those. Which I was just using. Just using. Oh my lord. Did I throw them on the floor? Yes, I actually did. Oh, wow. There you go. All right. Redgeck says, make a robot with many little hands to toggle the switches automatically. You know what? You're a thinker, Redgeck. And AIO says, why not get something like a 1701 for your bootloader? Altair people did this back in the day. 256 bytes PROM. Because I don't want to, basically. I want there to be as little magic to this as possible. I realize the whole RS-232 part is pretty magic, but the point is that but when you're using this thing, we won't be just starting off with that. We'll be starting off with doing a bunch of manual small programming on it, and then getting to the bit bang low speed synchronous protocol, and how that works, and then only when like they have a pretty good understanding of this board will it be like, okay, now if you want to my more advanced programs, I have this nice little back door that you can use to use an actual assembler and have actual like terminal output from this thing. Is my thought. So that's one of the reasons I don't want to have a ROM. Also, I was going to say complexifies the memory map a little bit. I mean, really, I could just put one of those PROMs in high memory, but again, I don't want to. Yeah, the funny thing is that actually is slightly less complicated than what I have going on right now, because of course, I mean, not that it's crazy complicated, but having this mapped into the low and high portions it basically just ends up being a XOR. You just have to XOR the top two address lines, is how this thing gets selected. And we wouldn't even have to do that. It would just be checking for, that like both the address lines are 0, 0, to map this and have an enable line for the RAM in low memory, and then a completely separate decoding for the ROM at the top end. And you don't have to, like, the XOR adds the ORing of those two stages, which is another extra stage of logic. Not crazy, but technically, if you were to have the two chips, the decoding actually would be slightly simpler. But I just don't want to. It's more of a question of aesthetic and what I'm going for with this thing than it is a like technical question. But yes, so let us use the high order byte here. And what I am actually going to do is, because the fun thing is this little module, as you can see, it has some spots for pins around the side, but they freaking don't line up to the actual spacing on any 0.1 inch grid, which is really friggin' stupid. I mean, let me double check this. I am fairly certain this does not work, but it would be very nice if I was wrong. Yeah, no. It's so dumb. So if the pins on the side are lined up with the grid, then the pins on the back are basically right in between two rows of holes, and it would be vice versa. So stupid, but that means that I have to, for the purposes of making this particular board, I'm just going to have to run a wire directly to this little breakout, which, whatever. What the frick ever, bro. And so I will just feed this through one of the holes. There. Professional. And put this module back on, and just, go ahead and assume, let's see, so this is the one that's going out from this board to there, so that is the clear to send. So let me get some solder on clear to send. Where'd my solder go? Oh my god. This is why I at one time cleaned my freaking desk. Redgex says, will this board have an expansion slot so people could design and build their own extension with ROM if they want to in the future? I have thought about this. I'm still not quite sure. I'm just not quite sure. That's all I have to say about that. Because it would be pretty trivial just to like put the CPU pins on a header. But right now, the way things are mapped, everything fills up the entirety of address space. So a paper tape reader would be cool. It would be cool if I was building this for myself. I mean, maybe I can add some shit onto my own, but yeah, if I had left some empty address space, totally. I don't know. Yes, but we are assuming the use of CTS here. So let's go. No. Let me frickin' check these things. Don't assume. It makes an ass out of Let's just do this. I'm not even going to look up the... Oh, no! Whoops. I'm not even going to look up the RS-232 spec. I'm going to look up the .NET serial port object definition. Because, duh. MSDN... What is it? System IO ports serial port. And look at... There are a couple of properties on it. The other thing I'm also concerned about is for the low speed part, making sure that like the code on this side that opens the whole thing doesn't like it's not easy to accidentally screw things up so that it gets like a bad start signal or something, because like by opening the port it like sets DTR or something. But yes, let's see, methods, no properties. What was I going to attach to? CTS. CTS holding, I just saw it. So yes, CTS gets the state of the clear descend line. Perfect. So CTS will be our low speed input from the horde. Can you guys hear the geese coming through on stream? Because it is prime goose migration season right now, and there is a group going outside, and as a born and bred Midwesterner, like, gives me feels, man. Gives me feels. That is the sound of the seasons changing. Come on. Why the frick are you not bonding? If I ever have a second kid, those are words that I will probably say. Okay, so that is CTS hooked up to the most significant bit of that thing. And then the other thing I wanted to do was an LED indicating, let's see, let's make sure. Oh, sorry, you couldn't see me soldering that. I soldered it. And DTR enable. So yes, DTR is a thing I can send. Good, cool. So same thing. Let's see, where the frick is DTR? I have covered it up with a wire. Because I screwed some things up. I don't know if you can see, there is this this bodgy guy right there. Yeah, there you go. That is connecting two grounds together because I guess somehow I fucked up when I was taking the header that came with this thing out. The ground pad that was on there. I don't know why, it just didn't seem to be connected to ground. Maybe it's because it's a shit product. Who's to say, really? But I am just trying to read this text. RTS, DTR, DTR, DTR. Second to last pin. Very good. DTR, 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 DTR. This is my DTR song. I hope you like my DTR song. This is my DTR. This is my DTR. This is my DTR song. Thank you. Okay, and then I'm just gonna jam an LED somewhere. The end. Craft my bag of LEDs. They are right here. Oh boy. Oh boy. Stick a 0.1 inch pin header on the end of it and call it a day, says AIO. I still think that once you get floppy control working on that NES, you should go straight to 20 megabyte hard disk. No, so I am still with you. This is one of those things, if you're not on the Discord. So AIO is obsessed with hard drives. This is the theme. Half of the Discord is just AIO talking about his, talking about their most recent, I don't know AIO. So, I don't know. But, yeah, talking about their most recent hard drive acquisition. Retro hard drives only, of course. And we have agreed, because I think it's a great idea. Because I keep trying to decide for the other down the road projects like what peripherals to add, because I don't want it to always be the same thing. You know, I want it to be something fun for each one, and maybe something that's somewhat period appropriate. So for the Genesis, I'm sticking an MFM hard drive on that bad boy, because AIO has convinced me that it is about as easy to interface with as a floppy. So yeah, we're making it happen. That is the plan. Okay, there's an LED. There's an LED. And I mean, all I'm going to be doing with this today is wiring these up and just making sure that I can, in fact, control them the way I would like to via .NET libraries. Okay, there's the LED. Let's get a resistor. Oh, and Redgeck said CF card / IDE. Jacob says, did you take down your live stream uploads? Yeah, so the YouTube live tab is definitely, I mean, I'm not like a huge YouTube person. I watch a lot of YouTube. I am on YouTube. I mean, like, I don't know. I don't keep up with the YouTube platform news. That's what I'm going for. So I got no clue, but I definitely have noticed and I have heard talk about, yeah, they moved things over there for some reason. Like they're not just all in the same place. And I don't know what that's about, but yeah, it's weird. Don't know. It's also kind of like that in the YouTube studio thing. Don't know. Couldn't tell you why. Oh, I really fucked this up. There was a way easier way to get ground going to this resistor. If I had just done it back the other way. Foolish man. Oh well. And AIO said, nah, CFIDA is boring. The ST506 protocol. Yes. Not on the NES, though. Not on the NES. Frankly, with the NES, I really should be, like, using a, at least a 5 1/4 inch floppy, really. Which I do think I will do at some, I think that's my ultimate goal here. When I get more or less understand what problems I'm having with the floppy drive and get things sorted out, I am going to move to at least a 5 1/4. So that seems more period appropriate-ish. Where can I steal ground? Let's steal it from this bus. Redgeck said, the new YouTube UI also removed sort by date reversed on channel pages. Really? Why? I don't understand. I like how YouTube is pretty much universally... People are on YouTube because they like the creators, and the creators like their people, and that's where the two meet. But otherwise, fuck YouTube. Like, YouTube users and YouTube creators, I feel like equally hate YouTube. But, like, it's the only platform of its kind for, you know, doing a lot of stuff. This is the vibe I get. Jacob just said lol. AIO said, which is the Shugart floppy interface he's already got, but with extra head selects and more cylinders. Yeah, that's what we were saying. I am told it should be really easy to interface with. Jacob says, thumbnail corners are rounded now. In the future, they unround them. Ooh. Redgeck sees CFIDE is boring, hides his peta.kicad schematic. Nice. It's not boring. It's not what I desire for my next projects. AIO said, sorry if it's a bother. I figured it was more relevant than my car collection. No, it's fine. It's just that, you know, you're the one who posts the most. It's it's visible. Red Gex said 8-inch or bust. I mean, seriously, that's why I'm thinking 8-inch would be cool. It would be cool. It'd be stupid, that's why we're here. Dave says, 150-minute Track Zero stream? Impossible. Remember when I used to, when I first started this thing and I was doing the, 3-hour, 4-hour mega streams? And Red Gex says, spends hours a day on YouTube. Me too. LED. I think it's in the right way around. It's connected to ground now. And let us just get this DTR. Yes, DTR. Let's get this DTR run over to that LED, and I think we're ready to go. Assuming I remember the polarity that I put in this LED properly. Fingers crossed. So yeah, I have to know, Dave, at this point, do you feel like your NES cartridge is one of those projects now where it's like you pretty much did what you wanted to do with it and you're happy and you probably will never touch it again? Because I could totally see myself doing that. Or do you have thoughts about your next things that you want to do with it? Or are you moving on to other projects? Dave says, never be happy. Yeah, that is... I hear that. And AIO said, 8-inch floppies are standard shoot-art interface, but you have to remember that there are only 77 sectors. Or you will go off to the ends of the earth and fall off and never be heard from again. That's what I understand. If you go to track 78, God have mercy on your soul. Your family will have to bury an effigy. But yeah, they had, at VCF this year, they had a couple 8-inch drives for sale. And of course, since I was bringing the NES project to VCF, I was thinking about it. I was thinking hard. All right, that's the hardware part of things. Now I guess plug it in, see if it gets enumerated. I still can't remember if you need... FTDI devices are just supported on most modern operating systems, right? Because I remember that was a thing. For FTDI devices, you needed to download the FTDI driver for a while. Dave says, got to make an in-system reprogrammer for the CPLD so it can swap mapper images on the fly. That is a sick idea. Surely that was something that you were indicating you wanted to do the whole time. But, shit, that's a great idea. I mean, is that... Because, damn, how do NES EverDrives and stuff work, you know? I didn't think about that, because for most EverDrive type things, you just, you just present the ROM bytes and that's it, because most things are just linear, simple ROM. But for an NES, you have to do all the mapping stuff. So I mean, I assume an EverDrive does that mostly in software. I don't know, but I hadn't thought about that. AIO said normal 3.5-inch discs actually have physical space for 82 tracks, but only 80 were used because of quality problems. Yes, I don't know if you're the one who's mentioned that to me before, but it has been mentioned. Because it might have been you, someone on this channel mentioned that maybe it was the Windows 95 disk set, the floppy disk installer set, used the extended capacity formatting. So that they could jam more shit in there with fewer floppies. And Dave says, no, it's feature creep. Okay, all right. That's some great feature creep, though. Let's start a project. Let's start a project, dude. VS Code, not a big fan of weird screen scaling, apparently. Okie dokie. Do I have a code folder? No, I don't. I don't use this machine, ever. It is not set up like any of my normal machines are set up. I guess make-dir code. CD code. Make-dir, I don't know. 6502 Tor, which is the name of the project. I hope you guys like that one. I don't know, 6502 Tor boot. Or yes, 6502 Tor bootor. It's perfect. And .NET new console. Arrow said, actually, lots of Microsoft products use DMF as opposed to the regular MFM because it gets them to 1680K as opposed to 1440K after format. Some later discs get 1720, but these use the same 80 tracks just with 21 sectors instead. There's a program called 2M which will let you format it to like 1920K with the extra 2 tracks and 21 sectors, plus dropping a bunch of clock bits for more space. Oh, and they do sector sliding, which in some cases can get you like a 75% speed boost. Fascinating. Red Kick says, wow, you just blew my M68K MVP out of the water with that name. I'm just making sure I'm not having a kerning issue, and that is in fact MVP. Is the punniness there the 2 M's, or am I just stupid and it's something clever that I'm just totally missing? Not to say that it's not good. I just want to make sure that I'm understanding it correctly. M68K MVP. Red Kick says, there is no pun. That's the point. Okay, gotcha. I'm just trying to be generous. Anyway. But yeah, 6502 tutor. Isn't that good? Because it's a learning board. 6502 tutor. Right. So let's open this file here. Let's get this open and learn some of this .NET serial port shit. See if this thing even enumerates. No. Open folder. Code 6502 tutor booter. I don't like this touchpad. Do I trust the authors? Do I? Who's to say? All right, so let us using system.io.ports and I guess what should I do? Let's start with this CTS thing, because if I can just get it to flash, then that's cool. DTR enable. Oh wait, no, I want to enumerate my ports first. So, serial, no, ports dot, no, system.io.ports. I probably have to do this in like .NET 4.8 or something, don't I? Something silly like that. I don't know. I would have assumed that this was supported by .NET, whatever. .NET 5 plus, but yeah, let's see. .NET add package system.io.ports. I feel like that shouldn't be necessary. Oh wow, no, it totally is. Interesting. You have to add that as a package. Okay, so serial port. Yes, and then there was a get port names. And that's that. And let's just do the old console.write line string.join /n serial port.get port names and send it. All right, we've got com4. Let's do the classic test. Unplug, re-enumerate. Okay, it's com9. Good to know. It does in fact show right up. That's nice. So, let's do, I believe it is serial port. Wait, no. Var ftdi equals new serial port, and then I think port name, yes, com9. And then the question is, do I have to open it in order to toggle these? So I don't know, let's find out. Let's just enter a nice old loop. While true, ftdi dot dtr enable equals not ftdi dot dtr enable, and system threading threads sleep 250, and then do it again. And hopefully that should give us a nice blinking thing. Maybe. Let's see. Fingers crossed. It's doing nothing. It's doing absolutely nothing. Maybe I do have to do port open first. ftdi dot open. Yay! Okay, awesome. There 'tis. There 'tis. So that's great. I do have to open the port, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. That's just fun and cool. Okay. Let's read a little more chat. Redkick says, that's no good. Now I need a rebranding. Microsoft expects you to run proprietary kernel and trust the authors, but wants to make sure you trust the authors of some project that gives code away. Hold up, you can just write statements in global scope and C# now? No need for a static main in a class? Yeah, that's I can't remember if that's a C# 9 thing or a C# 10 thing. It's relatively recent. But yeah, if because the idea is they are trying to make, I mean, they keep adding sick features to C#, honestly. I'm a funny person because, you know, I like doing stupid from scratch like stuff in C and stuff. But yeah, they have Pythonified your better Java. That is exactly the right way to put it. If you just want to write some top level scripty style code, you can do it, much like I just did here. Okay, so the last thing that I want to check is what was the other one? CTS. I mean, surely I can read CTS, but what I'm going to do here now is we're going to do this thread sleep. What I'm going to do is console write line. I am sure this will work now. I feel very confident, but still. ftdi dot I keep forgetting CTS holding, and that's literally it. That's literally all I want to do. It's that easy. Okay, so you're just gonna have to trust me on this. Keep printing true. And if I write a 1... Look at that! Look at that, my board is communicating. Here. So, as you can see, so we use the highest order bit of the user port thing, of the user blinking lights port doodly-doo. And by setting that to 1, it's updated the thing. And now I've turned it off, and if we go back over here, it's back to true. And if I turn it back on, yep, it's back to false. Lovely. That's all I wanted to confirm, was that I can actually get usable control over those in C#, which is super duper cool. Nice. And now I should be able to bit bang data between the two of these in a cool way. And that is exciting. And then, I mean, I want to do the same thing with RX and TX, but I mean, that'll just be the same thing. I'll probably just make the second highest order bit TX and the same thing for the switchy doos. And that's that. Cool. Oh, and this actually isn't hooked up to the switchy doos because I don't have a CPU running yet, so what would be the point? But that will be trivial. But I just wanted to see if the FTDI worked the way that I wanted it to, and that is super cool. The rest of the software stuff I can do off stream, and I will, but I just wanted to do that because I'm here. Let me read some more chat real quick, and then I'm outie because I have been streaming for about 3 hours. Redgex says, I wonder how that works across multiple files. Like, you have global statements and multiple CS files. How does that get linked? So the trick is, you can only really have one file in your source that's written in that top-level style, and what they do is they basically invisibly make it your static program class and your main. And depending on the type of top-level statements you have in there, it will take... Like anything that is any variable declarations, any stuff like that, they just get put in the body of a static main. If you declare, I believe if you declare any classes or types or anything like that, they become defined in the static program.cs object. It's a little weird. I was playing around with it because I don't use it much and haven't poked with it much, but it doesn't quite work like that because you don't have like a program. A static program class available like you would elsewhere. But yeah, it's a little funky. So they're not actually in global scope. They're local to the kind of virtual invisible main function. It's kind of the same sort of syntactic sugar that they do with everything else. You know, where it's like lambdas in C# are just basically an anonymous object with a method pointer as one of its fields, and the rest of the fields are the captured variables, but it invisibly does that under the hood, so that to you it just looks like a closure that with nothing magical. But it's because under the hood it's getting compiled into an anonymous, an instance of an anonymous class getting instantiated, which honestly is kind of brilliant. But so it's the same thing with this, where under the hood, really it's getting recompiled into the same thing you would have always written. It's just, it removes the necessity, if you really don't want to, of writing all the boilerplate just to get a main program working. Which is cool. It makes me happy to be a .NET developer. Which is funny, because I never would have classed myself as a .NET developer, except that now I've been doing it for years. And I mean, I really like C# as a language, especially, mainly it's a nice work language to work in. You know, you can get stuff done pretty fast, and it's pretty ergonomic, especially these days. And mainly it's whenever I whenever I try messing with Java, for instance, it just makes me so happy that I do .NET stuff for my day job. It's not like I'm a particular zealot. It's just somehow I ended up being a .NET guy, and I'm good at that. So that's the hammer I use to drive all the nails. But also just the convenience that it's got to it now these days. Like I was saying to Dave, it was so cool. I mean, not like it's a revelation. It's been this way for a while, but I'm doing all of this work for the NES project on a Windows workstation, right? And I have my M1 MacBook Pro that I use for other things, and that's what I brought to the VCF. And the wild thing is, I didn't set it up to use. I didn't set it, like, I literally just brought a flash stick with my source folder from this machine, just plopped onto it because I didn't give myself a lot of time to prep. So I just dragged that over and brought it with me, and then moved those files onto the laptop, which had, like, it didn't even occur to me this is it's Mac OS versus Windows. It's an M1 thing versus totally freaking different things. But I was like, this should work fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. And the crazy thing is, it was, because my linker script, my build script, which is written in PowerShell, not that it uses anything particularly PowerShelly, but it's a PowerShell script, and then that that overcomplicated concatenation tool is in C#. But since all of that is also available for Mac OS, I literally just had to install PowerShell for Mac OS and the .NET SDK, and it was like nothing changed. It was amazing. So that's why I say I'm happy to be a .NET developer, because it seems like it was kind of a toss up maybe 10 years ago, and now it's like C#. If you're gonna develop applications in a JITted application language, C# is a great way to go. And also, if you're crazy, you can just move over to F# and have lots of fun writing OCaml code. Boy. Yeah, I went on a long tirade, and now there is much more chat. AIO says, source, dude, trust me. Redgeck says, I am sure I can go read on that on the web, but I'm here to drive your Googlebot chat rating up. Much appreciated. Redgeck, source, I made it up. Redgeck says, notices Python string format in better Java. Yeah, I also can't remember, maybe that might have been C# 8? I'm not a big C# version changes person. But also semi-recent, not as recent as the top-level code. But yeah, that they added string interpolation, and it's V-nice. AIO said, will you be posting source for the NES thing on GitHub? Let's do that right now. Let's just friggin' do that right now. Like, it's in no state to be shared with anyone for any reason. But, I mean, why not? It is a Git repo, so... Frickin' scaling. Git folder hidden. I'm just trying to figure out which level has my Git folder. Good lord. Look, man. Okay. So, this is a thing. I'm just going to get at all. Because we're being lazy about this. Keyboard sucks. Let's just call this upload because let's see who was complaining about this. Because AIO made me. Okay, let's go to my GitHub and try not to leak my password. assuming I can remember my password. But by the way, if you want to spam me, there you go. Reverse engineer my key presses, okay? Jacob said, lol, I remember before I knew about gitignore and pushed up node modules, like 20,000 files later. This doesn't seem right. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I just pushed up a bunch of binary bullshit, too, because I didn't care about filtering it, but... Also, ages ago, Dave said he's out of work. Right on, bro. Redgex says, oh, okay, they just forced it to be one file, got it. It's basically a hack. Yeah, it's basically a hack, but it's nice. Last time I was using C# was when I was playing around in Unity like a decade ago. Funny thing is, I have thought about many times, but never once actually used Unity. Redgex says, I hate Java because it doesn't even have goddamn unsigned integer. Yes! Yeah, what the hell? God, that was a lot of fun because I was playing around with writing a WebSocket server in Java for no good reason. Because I was playing around with the thing. And yeah, if you want to do like bitfield things, good luck, good luck, good luck. Go to hell. Good luck. That is the Java way. Francois Reval said C++ for the win. Every now and then I get over to C++ because I don't really want any of like the features of C++ per se. I like having auto. I do like having auto. And you know, because I tend to write classy C. Like, you know, there are various ways. I mean, when you're programming almost anything, it ends up being, you know, your structures they're objects. You have functions that act on those particular structures, and they're your methods. Like, it's the way it ends up being structured. Anyway, but so for stuff like that, obviously C++ gives you better ergonomics for that kind of thing. So every now and then I'm like, I'll do this in C++ because it seems object-y the way I want to do it. And then I don't know. I don't have any particular love or hate for C++. I do think it's a bloated, weird language at this point, but Redkick says, I hate all languages, but unironically hate plain C the least. I think there's a lot of love for plain C. It's not because it's like a good language. I think it's just because it's a romantically simple language. You know what I mean? Like, you can do anything with it. You can do higher level, you can do lower level, you can, you know, some things aren't quite so ergonomic. If you really wanted to do like application programming, it, you know, kind of sucks in C. But, you know, for most other things you want to do, it's a really nice compromise. You can really shoot yourself in the foot, that is very true. But having the power to shoot yourself in the foot is fun sometimes. It's just a romantic language. Rick said, just get your whole C drive. I'm sure GitHub won't mind. Then Jacob's comments about ignoring things. Rick said, try not to leak my password. Challenge. Impossible. Gone wrong. Gone. Oh my goodness. And then the best thing is, because he was about to write, he wrote, gone set. And then was immediately followed up by a porn bot. Nice. Unless that's a real person that's joking about being a porn bot, but I get so many porn bots. I don't know what it is. It's really funny. Redgeck says, did I summon spammers? Reported. Thank you, Redgeck. AIO said, I use C++11 because that's what I have installed, and I'm lazy. That's fair. I'm not like a language purist. I just, you know, like talking about what I like. Redgeck says, hashtag, not all structures are objects. You're not wrong. I'm just saying that's the way that a bunch of my projects end up going, is I objectify my shit. AIO says, I never learned about objects, though. Redgeck says, plain old data, structive arrays. Structive arrays? Array of structs? I don't know, you could do either or. I mean, an array is an object. It's an iterable object that has entries of a certain type. I don't know. Oh, also, you know what I would love? Well, I keep messing around with this. I'm gonna finish this stream at some point. I started writing a language a while back called Y, which is just C with some sugar. Like, one thing that I just thought would be fun is, like, I like lambdas a lot. I like being able to have some first-class defunctionness. And I realized you could kind of hack it by just passing a structure with a function pointer up and down your call stack. And you could hand write that in C, but it would be really gross. And, you know, the whole point is to be ergonomic, so that things are like automatically closed on, so that they would automatically be part of that structure. That's going up and down your stack and being passed around from the higher level functions to the lower. There would be difficulties. I mean, like, it's weird because you can't. It wouldn't be like C# style where you're putting it on the heap, so passing it around becomes a little bit weird. But I figure if you declare it in your top level, whichever top level function spawns it, then unless you're like, if you were doing multi-threaded things, wouldn't really work. Like, you can't really pass it. Well, yeah, it would be gross to pass it around by. But I figured that's one little bit of sugar that I could do, is make lambdas that just compile down to a structure with a function pointer in it that gets passed into all of the child functions that refer to that lambda. And because that's just an ergonomic feature that I would like. And generics. If I could have, I mean, even if I could just have C with generics, not be a shitty template system, just have generics, that would be wonderful too. It would save so much time. But I mean, basically at that point, those are the Rust features, and what I just want is Rust. What I want is unsafe Rust, and I just need to admit it. Okay, all right, trying to get through these and getting back to whatever the hell I was doing in the first place. Francois Reval, define, begin, open curly brace. Yes. I recall the source of the serial port driver in BOS using these idioms to look like Pascal. I have heard of this shit before. Redgex says, I hate the word procedure, write in C. Francois Reval says idioms. Redgex says, Pascal is cool. Okay. I wanted to get into Pascal for like old school programming stuff, like especially like old Mac code, since that was heavily Pascal. However, I learned that you cannot have pointers to pointers in Pascal, something like that. And I was like, no, never mind. But I mean, Pascal is basically just C with more verbose syntax and a few nice features. Francois said, or was it the teletype driver? Redgex says, dude, stop stealing my ideas. I have a project on hold that is C with generics and minus undefined behavior. And Redgex says, unsafe Rust. Yes. And that's not like, Rust is a cool language. I don't want to throw that, like, it's not that I think the memory management stuff is stupid. It's that I'm too stupid for the memory management stuff, is basically what it boils down to. Like, I don't have the patience for it. But it's a great feature. It's a super cool idea. But that's the only reason that I like it. All of the others, the way they do interfaces and inheritance and stuff it strikes me as the right way, very clean. And we've had this whole conversation before. Me and Trey have talked about stuff. Go back to episode whatever it was for that. Anyway, we're projecting. Don't look at the freelance work that I do. New. Let's call this. It's just, or maybe let's call this just a PC NES. Not even going to put a description on it. It is public. No readme. No git ignore. No nothing. And steal this. Done. Git push U origin main. Actually, it's probably master. Let's see. Red Kick says, I just don't want compiler to tell me what not to do. When the plane crashes, I'll know my code was wrong. Right on. Yeah. Red Kick says, my branch is named master because it was masterfully created. Never mind that it's segfaults. There we go. Regardless of that whole master versus main thing. Honestly, I think main is just a better name for a primary branch. Just ergonomically. I'm totally fine with it. Check out mustard. Complete the authentication in your browser. Where? Oh God! My default browser is Edge on this thing? Ugh. Yay! Successful. You did it. You did it. You did it, Jeff Bezos. Okay, so it should be there. You can see the link. It is here. With, as mentioned, all the garbage. All the garbage. Every little bit of garbage that you could possibly want. And not even the font file, because that's in the parent directory, I believe. So, there you go. But it has all the JEDs and why can I not think of the words? The PLD source files. Kubel. All the Kubel source has the assembly. It's a chaotic mess, but it's there. Let's see if I can drop this in the chat. There you go. Yes, I can. So there's that. Red Gex said less letters to type too. Indeed. AIO says, I do wish someone would make a nice compiled language for homebrew computers, something reasonably platform interchangeable. Yeah, it's called C. Red Gex says, one of my ideas for the Ultra 5 is to write a compiler for UltraSpark for fun and pain. Indeed. Have fun with that. All right, it's been over 3 hours. We have done much more than NES stuff, but all good things today. So, have a good time, y'all. I will see you next weekend. I promise. I'm sorry about the delay last time. I was just trying to get this thing done. But, as you can see, this thing is practically qualified. I might try and... If I have time, I might try and get the CPU and the clock section also needs to be done. The CPU and clock section in. And then I'm done. And then I can have boards made. And then my Christmas present will be ready! And we can get back to me focusing mainly on the NES thing, instead of being distracted by this. Okay, that said, see ya. I love ya. Bye.